You're watching News 360. Thanks for staying with us. Time for business with me, Nanikia Mensah-Brampa. Why so the big day for the business community as well as the entire economy is Thursday, March 2, and already expectations are pouring in this one. We begin from labor, where two major labor unions are suggesting to government to widen the tax net and also inject capital to support the growth of the manufacturing sector. Speaking ahead of the 2017 budget statement, the unions also proposing that government should consider scrapping the 10% energy sector levy.
The two major unions are the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, and the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU. UTAG was clear that government should restructure the economy with particular emphasis on reducing taxes to promote the growth of businesses. The national president, Dr. Harry Agbanu, urged government to capture in the 2017 budget what stimulus packages would be made available to the manufacturing sector. He was of the view such packages would assist the companies to recruit more workers to reduce the unemployment rate.
I think that the manufacturing sector would have to hear something positive so that we can add value to the produce that we have, so we can make money and so doing even create jobs for our teaming youth who come out of our institutions.
Dr. Harry Agbanu again called for the restructuring of the National Health Insurance Scheme and adequate capital investment to support the health sector. But he, however, asked government to expand the tertiary institutions to accommodate more students when the free SHS policy is rolled out.
That will mean to me that government would have to make a lot of investment at the tertiary level, capital investment, investment in human resource, investment in equipment and other resources that the tertiary institutions will need to be able to function effectively.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union is suggesting to government to widen the tax net and also scrap the energy sector levy.
We think that levy should be scrapped and be scrapped immediately because it doesn't really make sense to us. It is one element that is raking a lot of revenue to government, because petrol and gasoline and gas usage is everyday affair, and anybody who buys, you've contributed directly into that fund, so that fund keeps receiving money every day.
The General Secretary is calling on government to capture how much has been kept at the Bank of Ghana on the second-tier pension scheme.
The IMF presence, will still push us to see whether the minimum wage and then public sector wage bill will also appear, because if there are cuts are supposed to be there, hearing that there's going to be extension of the facility, what does that mean in the present budget? And that will pave way for us to think as labor people to look at what will happen to employers as well.
So we've heard that for labor. Now, the business community looks forward to a budget that goes beyond a presentation, but rather the ability to implement outlined policies for macroeconomic stability. Seth Chum Akwabwa is Executive Director of the Association of Ghana Industries, and he says key among the expectations is cutting energy costs, tax reviews, and a conducive environment for private sector businesses to thrive. For the business community, macroeconomic stability is key. The city's continuous depreciation to the major trading currencies is also another major concern to the business community. Year 2015 was also a difficult year for businesses, with the energy crisis that saw several businesses collapse. For the budget reading on Thursday, the business people need some pointers on reliability of power and cost cuts.
Challenge, and we want to avoid that. So that is one aspect, that the reliability in the supply, the security of it is important. Then the second aspect regarding power is the cost. The cost today is very high. Most businesses are paying very high cost of energy, and it's making us uncompetitive. And as you increase your prices, you become more competitive. So we want to see efforts to reduce the cost of energy.
They are also keen on the review of taxes and government's plan for the private sector in the various districts per the NPP's manifesto.
Government has also been talking about the one district, one factory concept, and as industry, we are very much interested in the overall plan of government when it comes to industrial development. There's also a discussion on kind of a stimulus package to pep or support industries to grow so that we can create the kind of employment that people expect in the system. So what will be the specific measures? What fund or what provision, budget provision will be made available for all these things that government is talking about?
In all, private sector businesses look forward to a budget to stabilize the economy. And I'm sure one major area that lots of people will be expecting Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to touch on has to do with the depreciating cedi. The CEO of the African Alliance Securities, Winston Nelson, says the cedi's depreciation is the market's reaction to the news of the almost 10% budget deficit recorded by the previous government. Now, he said until government puts forward fiscal policies to address the situation, which he hoped will be contained in the 2017 budget statement, the cedi slide will not stop. The cedi has so far depreciated by 5.8% to the US dollar.
Pressure on the cedi at this time of the year is not a new phenomenon. Activities of importers and multinational companies repatriating limited foreign exchange to meet external trade obligation has become a yearly situation. The dollar started the year trading at 4.2077 cedis on the interbank market. However, as at the close of trading yesterday, the dollar is now going for 4.4594 cedis, meaning the cedi has lost 5.81% of its value year to date. This figure, which is more than double the 2.1% recorded within the same period last year, according to analysts, is due to the market reacting to news of undisclosed spending incurred by the previous government.
That is news that you expect that the markets will process because everybody ends up to change their forecast. So previously, whilst we knew we would believe that the deficit is narrowing sharply, 5.6, government has come out clearly to tell us that our deficit is not at 5.6 as we previously believed it was.
From the beginning of last year to November 29, the cedi recorded a year-to-date depreciation of 4.7%. However, the month of December saw the cedi worsen in performance, depreciating further to 9.6% by the end of the year.
The budget will be the next big thing, actually. Once they read the budget, then we see what the plan is this year. We then determine whether this is realistic based on your numbers. Financing would be a big part of the plan for this year for the government, how you will plug that gap. Okay, so whether you are raising more revenue, that means you are increasing taxes, or the economy grows and therefore you get more taxes to be able to cover the same thing.
Economic analyst with First Bank, Benjamin Amwa-Ejei, sees the cedi slide as not that alarming, as the cedi has at this same period in February 2015 depreciated by 7.9% and 14.4% in 2014.
The central bank is in a position to ensure that there is stability going forward. As at the end of December 2016, the bank reported more than 6 billion in foreign assets, funds of import cover. So they are in a very good position to be able to defend the cedi if it comes to that.
Both businesses and consumers are waiting on the finance minister to present government's budget statement on Thursday to see the way forward.
Right, so we'll be looking at the various sectors in our subsequent bulletins, and TV2 will also be giving you a full coverage of the 2017 budget statement on Thursday, 2nd March, right here on TV2. But from us here on the business field, we are done. My name is Nanikua.